this presentation of MRE Uno, Division 1.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to coverage of the MRE Uno League Division 1, as tonight we've got a slugfest for you. It is a Final Four rematch. It's tough enough when you're going up against somebody you've never played before, no playbook at hand, but when you know somebody so well you faced off before, it just makes that challenge a lot tougher. Tonight, we've got Tago facing off against Yoshi. One of these are going to go on to face off against Captain. Now for Tago, he's used to the high tier starts. He's used for that added pressure with the high tier, the high number rankings. He's got two plays that he's really good at, the light switch and the reverse eye candy. Will he call on those here tonight? Also, if he's got the call for the initial draw on the deck, do not expect low card counts. He doesn't like that. He likes it when he's got a pretty hefty hand, and his power play, whether it is offensive or defensive, the efficiency is A+. On the other side, Yoshi, he's a mid to high tier player, so he's able to take different types of pressure. Terrific on his ammo control. And what about number efficiency? Can he work on that in the late game situations? Because Yoshi will probably look to end this tournament, this matchup, as quickly as he can. He has some kryptonite when we get later into games, in games 6 and 7. We talked about that bracket. Let's take a look at that here, as one of these two is going to go on to face off against Captain. Here this evening, we settle it out in the potato segment for March Madness. One of these two, they're going to get mashed to a pulp, but one of them's going to be covered in the gravy of glory. Let's head on down to the table. I'm Seth Cole. I got KT with me, Caesar on the call for referee, and KT here this evening. I mentioned that these guys have a playbook. They've faced off against each other before. What do we think? Do we stick with what we know best, or here tonight do we call that trick play and try and catch the other one off guard? Yeah, so let's start with Christian. So Christian, obviously number one seed, maybe looking to make it a number one seed if you go up to face against Captain. But we talk about the fact here that you don't like the low card feels and you're really good with the power play here. I mean, here this evening, obviously we're going to be looking, when you have the call, we're going to see the high card count, but what are we thinking here in terms of how often you're going to use that reverse eye candy, the light switch? Those are the keys we had for you here this evening. How often do you call on that, and how often do you end up just going with the straight off play? Or is it dependent on the situation based off the scoreboard? And as we got Christian typing that, we'll ask Yoshi this question. Yoshi, coming into this one here, we touched on it. Getting into those late games has been your kryptonite. Has there been any kind of adjustments you'll be able to call on if this thing goes in deep, or are you of the mindset of trying to end this thing quick and early? Endurance battles, they may be nerve-wracking for the participants, but they're awfully fun for us to be able to watch. We got Christian saying he might have some Plan A games, might not. We'll see how it goes. With what we just heard there from Yoshi and from Christian, it sounds to me, KT, like both of them, they have a game plan, but also they've got a backup game plan. I like that. Absolutely. Best of 7. Could we be in for an endurance run here? One power play apiece. What's a power play? A power play apiece. And let's take it down there to our referee, Caesar. Caesar, go right ahead. I believe Toggle's got that first call. Call it a dozen. Why not? Alright, so let's see what we end up getting here for our first card played. And we're going to come in with yellow 3. There you go. Yep, you talked about it, that light switch. And he's doing it right out of the gate here. It's interesting to me when we have that light switch because a lot of times I'll think, well, won't that throw the person off if they have a strategy? I know it in many ways it's supposed to confuse the opponent, but a lot of times you have those particular high-level people that are able to do both. They're able to keep their game plan and throw the other person off at the same time. There you go. Tago gonna follow it up there with the red 4, keeping it in red color. Believe we've covered all but yellow, or no, we had yellow to start with, so we've covered all 4 colors already here, and we've only played, what, 7 or 8 cards? Oh, Yoshi with the draw. Swaps over there into the red. You have to wonder, too. Now Tago there with the draw. You have to wonder if either of them, we saw Yoshi with the draw earlier, now Tago with the draw, are they holding anything back? Holding back some ammo, not wanting to use it this early, willing to draw that extra card or two just as maybe a little bit of a sacrifice, not use that ammo right out of the gate. Okay, so the question is, did we run out of red, or are we looking for number efficiency here? Yep, swapping over into the blue, and oh, here we go. That might have been what Christian was looking for. Skip into the 1. Yes. Definitely seen that there. And, Yoshi talked about the fact that, he's trying to keep his head in the game. And sometimes you want to sit back, you want to analyze everything. You don't want to play too quickly, to your point. I think he's backing that pace down purposely, just making sure he's weighing all of his options here. Oh, man. Got exactly what he wanted. Let's see if Yoshi's able to answer. Should have some yellow there. They were in Draw City for a little bit. They drove through Draw City. Oh man. There you go. Double skip. Swap the color over into green. He might have something here. He's typing for a bit. Has he got something more in green? Did the 7 give him number efficiency to swap over to something else? Oh, there you go. Yeah, wow. Look at that. He had that ammo in check. And he's going to go up 1-0. Yoshi, I got to ask, see if I might have been on the money there when you started going into those early draws. Do you have something there in your hip pocket and you weren't ready to fire all those rounds just yet? Tago, we saw you go to those light switches right out of the gate, going to what you're known best for. We even saw you doing it there mid-game. Was it just one step ahead there that Yoshi had you by? Did you have something loaded up as well? Correct. Yep. We ended up having that +4, but kind of almost a Fortnite game. Mobility, very important there, and we had all those skips and reverses to end up getting those chains put together in this one. We'll see if those +2s and maybe more of those wilds and +4s come up here in this second game. But Yoshi talked about trying to get that early advantage, and that's exactly what he's got here. Let's get ready for game number 2. Just goes down 1. Oh, wow, how about that? Little dealer's choice there. And with having a choice like this, okay, so he's just going to play cool with the yellow 1. I almost wondered if maybe if he could string together a chain of 3, 4 cards, do you maybe try going for that right out of the gate since the ball is in your court? But no, he's just going to stick there with the yellow 1. Wow! Is this playing possum or is Yoshi iced out this early? It'd be shocking in 11 cards if he didn't have a yellow. Yep. Okay. So he, man, I can't believe he'd be out of yellow that early on with that big of a hand, but we've seen stranger things happen. He's got it over to green, and he'll stick with green with a green 3. Oh, Tago wanted to go over to green as well. Little double play there. Yeah, interesting to your point. We're seeing Yoshi back the pace down. Tago, before Yoshi even plays a card, he's got something already lined up a few times here, preemptively getting ready to strike. First +2 we've seen of the night, and a little light switch right there. Says, all right, you like the green? Let's take it back over to yellow. And Yoshi says, nah, let's go back to blue. No, not at all. He knows he's got a bit of an advantage right now with that +2 that he played against Tago. They continue to run in the blue. Let's see if Tago... Oh, wow, look at that. Goes to the color swap to green with the +4 as well. Fires right back. And if I remember correctly, I think Tago was the one that swapped it off of green. He came right back to it. Ooh. Let's see what Yoshi's got planned here. Getting it swapped over to blue, and there you go. Ices out Tago. That could have been offensive or defensive. He might have been going on offensive to get the color he wanted. He might have also thought that Tago was going to be low on blue and get iced out quickly, which it appears to be the case. Oh, wow. Ooh, and Tago with the draw in the yellow as well. What do you think? You talked about winning on two colors. Is Tago in red and green right now? No yellow, no blue? Yep, let's see. Maybe he has another wild in the back pocket. There it is to swap it back. I wondered if he was going to maybe try and get it back to green that way. He'll have some ammo as well with that +4 to maybe get that yellow 8 to your point. Yeah, he's probably got to get it back to either the blue or the yellow, because right now Tago down to 2 cards. He's got to take the power out of Tago's hands here. Thinking carefully about this one. Let's see what he does here. He's going to go with the green reverse. Goes to the color swap with the blue. And into the yellow. Look at that. Triple reverse into the yellow, and there's the draw. He found exactly the path he needed. Well, we ended up seeing a draw on blue previously there from Tago. Let's see if he's still iced out on both yellow and blue, or does he have something to get him to the promised land? Oh, and that is huge. Interesting, he gets it over to the green, but he also leaves it on the +2, which Yoshi, you see there, is not able to do anything with. Oh, and now he's out of the green, is Tago. Yep, both of them. So we head into Draw City. Trying to eye the field here, and it almost looked like Tago's banking on red. I think Yoshi might be banking on either. Looked like maybe yellow might be the color he's banking on here. Great point. And if we get that swap over to red, Pandora's box is going to get broken open. Right now, about a 2-to-1 ratio in terms of cards in each one's hands. Yoshi with 15, and now, oh, he's got the green, plays the green. Now we may see the number efficiency come into play. Maybe the Christian Tago light switch. No, interesting. They'll continue to draw here. Exactly, and we talked about it too. This isn't the first time these guys have faced off against each other. This is a rematch from back in May. They've probably got a mental playbook of do's and don'ts against each other. And we're kind of seeing that here with this draw city. They know that they don't want to give that slight advantage to the other one. They don't want to be put on the back foot. As Yoshi with the play of green. Let's see if we end up getting the light switch now. The last time there might have been an opportunity, and yep, there we go. Light switch into the red. Oh boy, we just said it. Here we go.
$17 was Yoshi's limit. Tago was at 13. We got some time to work out here. We got a little bit before crescendos. We're going to cap. Oh, wow.
Wow.
Crazy from Tago.
Yellow. Interesting. We get off of red that quickly.
Yeah, someone's fading a double +2 or fading a reverse skip combo. They're fading that ammo in red. Here comes Yoshi trying to maybe get back to red, but he'll go play double.
Gotta think there's a lot of ammo in those hands with how long we were in Draw City.
Tago's going to play content here, Seth, and we talked about that endurance span at the top of the show. Well, we're right there. We're almost at 10 minutes. That's when we start to get into that longevity. It could favor Yoshi in a second, but it also could favor Tago because the more you have long endurance games, the longer the switches goes as Yoshi draws out for a minute here.
Over into the blue after Yoshi draws on the yellow 3. Spending an awful lot of time on cards that are not red. We were only there for a spell. I think they both realize they want to maybe stay away from that color. They're trying to number efficiency all the other cards they've got before they eventually get to that coveted color.
Well, right now, there's the red. You just mentioned it. It was breaking. Good old commentator's curse right there. As there's Tago with the reverse skip meta we talked about, so that's a double play. Does that give Yoshi a chance to test right here? Tago's pushing the pay. He's going quick. You can sense something from him. Cards
are starting to whittle down just as quickly as they were accumulated. Tago now down to 4. Oh, no, change that because Yoshi hits him with the +2. How about another one? And then with the red 8, that now puts Yoshi to the advantage. 8 cards to Tago's 10. He just flipped the script right there in 3 cards played.
Yep, flipped the script, and there's that double +2. So that's double +2s gone in green and red. Only the yellows and 1 blue remaining. Starting to whittle down those +2s. Can Tago get back to that pivotal light switch? You can see here, Seth, Yoshi's trying to take the light switch out of Tago's game, and Tago's got to get back to it. That's the key for his success.
Yoshi's been really good on the number efficiency, keeping Tago at bay for the time being. We haven't seen a whole lot of ammo. Okay, there's a little bit of ammo played right there with a reverse into the 8, but we haven't seen a whole lot of ammo played on Tago's end. How much does he have in reserve? That just draws them back even to 7 cards apiece.
Now Yoshi looking to speed it up a little bit. He'll go 1 up to Allen. Tago to Tapir. You can see it though, Seth. Tago, he's starting to get nervous. He's typing out quicker. He knows Yoshi's whittling down those numbers, and any +4 Yoshi hasn't played yet could be game over. Here we go.
Oh boy.
There's a run.
Goes to the red 6. The red 9 played there by Tago. Yeah, it's interesting with Tago, kind of the preemptive typing here too. It's almost like I don't know if he knows that he's going to get to be able to play that card off of what Yoshi plays, or if he's just hoping.
Could be a mind game, right? Trying to get Yoshi to
Yeah.
maybe think about the play, right? Maybe he's got something cooking. Maybe he's got a run he's trying to type out, and Yoshi's out. This is Tygo's chance here, but
Oh
he does
boy.
have it. That's big.
That is huge. Let's see if maybe Yoshi can get some number efficiency to swap over. Oh, he's got the red skip into
Uh-oh.
the blue and then draws again. At least he got it over to a different color. Let's see if
Tago
Tago
bite
can do
here.
anything with that, though. Oh, he
Uh-oh.
can.
Oh!
Whoa!
Same move earlier.
Yep. Exactly the same move, but now ends up getting a big advantage. Puts Yoshi up to 10 cards.
Instead, this is what we talked about with the card history, right? In the old bot, you don't make that move. Now you can make that move. There's no +2s other than the yellow left. Hit me with the +2, maybe get a +4 out of that. That's the percentage, we talked about with the statistics. When you get to these ammo wars and an over 10-minute battle here, you can play those percentage wars and you can play those ammo wars. It makes the game a lot different, more strategic, and it comes down to number efficiency. Where you would think on a light switcher, it's what Tago wants.
It's a great point. I mean, usually back in the day, you left it on a +2. You probably were going to end up drawing cards on the next person's turn, but with being able to know just how many +2s were out there in the field, only the blue +2 available to be played at this point in time, percentage not in favor that you're going to end up getting hit with that blue +2.
Actually, it was a yellow +2, so we just flipped over. The blue +2s are dry.
Oh
Question
yeah,
is
great
now.
point. Yep.
Question is now the reverse and skip method. There's still plenty of those left, and we still got 2 wilds. Yoshi's got to try to do something here because Tago has pushed the pace. He's gonna go crossover back to yellow. Oh, ice is Tago. That's huge.
That is. Played the reverse to be able to whittle the card count down, but then draws another, keeping him at 3. Yoshi going to keep it in the yellow. Let's see if there's any number efficiency color swap here for Tago. No. This might be exactly what Yoshi needs to be able to draw back even, maybe take the advantage back again.
Yoshi, we're gonna cut this to 1 possession. Tago desperately hoping for a switch for a normal number to play. Does Yoshi have the momentum in the white? He's gonna have nothing. He's gonna play it cool.
Might be heading back into a second draw city here. Yep, that's got all the looks of it.
God, thanks, Seth. We are getting close to the end of the deck, too. 20 cards left, over 12 minutes, almost 15 minutes. Now, Caesar, go ahead and throw an Uno log for the fans. Go ahead. Crazy series so far. Game 2, just joining us late. We talked about the endurance battle. Would we get one? Well, we're in for one right now as Tago goes to an Acosta 9 to see if he gets a switch right here.
Yeah, and with that few cards remaining in the deck, I believe we've only had 2 of the +4s played, so are they still out in the wild? Are they in either of these guys' hands? We may find out very shortly. Feel like they're keeping them in reserve if they've got them.
Yeah, regular wild as well, so 3 of those big cards yet to be played. Here comes Yoshi, Tago over to blue. Remember, the blue +2s are out, so this makes it an interesting game on number of fish. Into red.
Ooh, look at that. It's been a while since we've been at red, and looks like we're going to run with this for a while.
And not much left on the deck in red. This would be a high percentage move from Yoshi here to try to maybe steal one with a 4 or 5 play. If he's got it. There's the 5. Yep, don't have much there, so he's trying to steal one. He's hoping to, yep, nothing. Great play.
Wow, look at
the
that.
4 or 5. Yep.
Ices Tago out in the red.
There's the 4 and 5 play, I was just saying. There's a read. Tago in a red 1. Full top deck, maybe.
Yep, more than likely. And now Yoshi drawing. Yep, boy.
Ooh.
Oh, going back to the blue.
Once again, though, there's really nothing you're going to see out of the reverse skip, man. And there's the reverse skip and a 0. Tago can run the blues, though. There's a couple more numbers available in blue.
Yoshi must have drawn that blue 0 because he did the swap over from, I believe it was blue to the red just a few moments ago.
Yeah, now at this point, Seth, it doesn't really matter about so much quote-unquote saving. At this rate, you're just wondering if they don't have the +4s, that means they're in the wild. They have to be still in the deck, which is crazy. to leave it to the end like that, but that's where we're headed towards.
How about the fact we're now eclipsing 16.5 minutes in this second game? Both of these guys knew this was going to be an endurance slugfest overall for the tournament, let alone just this second game here.
Almost 17 minutes now. We are definitely cranking out the time, and the longer this goes, you think this would favor, according to the stats, the pregame notes, it would have favored Yoshi, but at the same time, it could also work in Tygo's favor. The more light switches you have to do with a fresh deck, it could go to his favor. This is
Absolutely.
a game of cat and mouse for sure.
Fresh deck means new opportunities, and we're getting pretty close to that here.
We're drawing. There's the switch in the green.
There we go. We haven't been in green for a while, so let's see what we've got in that color. We've been mostly fluctuating between the red and the blues here for the last 3 to 4 minutes. And we're back to the blue.
Great move, because you got to think at that point you play a percent a lot, and it's KT Classic on the KT, but it said you got to think green had a lot of the more numbers available. When you have more numbers available, God forbid the game could end right there. You have to make that move. It's a safe bet move, and that makes the game long. But the risk is, if they really are hiding, because we're out of wilds now, the +4s, you're chancing it. You're taking a big risk. So it's a risk for reward play. It's probably the safe play, but it comes down to the fate now, who gets to draw city the right way.
Absolutely, and just moments ago, we're now continuing to accumulate the hands, but we were down to 4 and 7 cards apiece, which easily, if you had that +4, you could end up maybe translating that into a game-winning run. As a little play skip there into the draw.
Tago could throw the hammer right here, green skip if he had it right here. This is definitely an interesting play. Does Tago throw the hammer with a possible green skip reverse combo to end that green skip reverses on the said color? We'll find out.
Yep, leaving it open potentially, and there it is, right on the call, right there. KT, you had it. You had it scouted.
The money there. Absolutely. Now Yoshi's got to readjust. Remember, we talked about this was the one color that didn't have as many numbers. Does he pull a +4 as a preventative measure? Let's see if he was saving. He'll play clean here. Numbers are rolling in green. This is big, Seth. Yoshi knows it too. So the numbers are, there's more availability in green. He's got to get off it.
Not able to. Down to 2 cards here is Tago. Does he have a finish? Oh, he's going to call the Uno. Does Yoshi have the number efficiency to get it off of green? Is that what Tago needs to finish, or does he have an exclamation point for his final card?
Right now, Yoshi's got 2 options, right? If you save the +4s, now's the time to use them. Or, as you said, Seth, you can't get out of the reverse and the skip, so it's got to be a 1. And the crazy part is here, the red ones are gone. The blue ones are, it's only shot as yellow. That's crazy. So this is a high risk move right here.
And we know that Tago can't possibly have one of those remaining +4s, or he would have utilized that to end the game right then and there. So the question is, what has he got? Both those +4s could be in Yoshi's hands right now. We still got 7 cards in the deck. Can you imagine if both those +4s are just waiting at the bottom of the deck?
Oh, that'd be something. Well, this said, Seth, we're over 20 minutes. So this is our longest game so far, and you got to say, I think if you're Yoshi, you just got to roll with the percentage and just run it green.
Ooh, he's going to run it green. Was that what Tago needed?
Right now, Tago's got to hope that this is it. Anyway,
oh my gosh.
The wrong number. Are you kidding me?
Wow.
Speechless on that one, Seth. You got to ask Yoshi on that. We got to go to him. That's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Yoshi, you were playing an absolutely stellar game right there, icing out Tago. You stuck with the green, but the number efficiency, I mean, the odds very slim of that happening. I know that's got to sting, but what an incredible job you did of extending it out as far as you did.
Yeah, so I didn't get a single +4 that game, so I was just like praying that any of his draws didn't give him +4s, and it didn't. But I don't know. I thought I forgot about the idea that he could have had a blue 6. I was mainly looking at green and yellow, assuming that those are the only 2 colors he had left, and I thought it was a 50-50. Yeah, I think either way, I was in trouble because maybe I should. Yeah, if I drew, I actually would have been better off because knowing that, yeah, maybe I should have drew because there's still I knew there was 2+4s left in there, and I'm like, when are they coming out? I'm just waiting for it, and it never did. Maybe I should have just drew there and see what happens, but I had a path to victory. He would have had to draw there, and I don't know. It I think I extended the game, but it's been a while since I've been this far. Like I got to this far with like the cards, like getting to this very end. I didn't account for as much as I should have, and maybe there was a smarter way to go about that. But yeah, I mean, fair enough with the blue six. I honestly wasn't even considering that.
Incredible endurance match, and we're only 2 games into this series. Tago, number efficiency works out for you here. Were you counting cards, or was that just fate there for you and being able to have the number efficiency to close this thing out? Because I can't believe the 2+4s that were remaining were actually in the final 7 cards of the deck.
Well, as he types out, Seth, this is a game of deal or no deal, right? Do you take the deal and say, you know what, give me the deal, be content here, and go with the regular draw? Or do you no deal and risk it, try to make something happen? Unfortunately, I just said off the top, too, the numbers were kind of low in any other color but the green. We saw the green had a lot of the numbers, and the only thing I said was the sixes weren't available other than the one blue, and unfortunately, yes, wrong, but that's a hindsight 2020 moment. You can't really predict that. As for Tago, though, when he saw that light up, you know what? That's been his game plan. You look at how many times he switched the cards, and we have the stats to prove it. Surprisingly, he's actually out switched right now. He's only has 18 and 19, but he's getting those more proper switches and willing to be more in his raw city, which is a little bit of an element of Tago's game he's trying to improve on. As he says, you want to read that? Go ahead, Seth. Go ahead and read
This
that.
new one of the few cards that could have been played by Yoshi was the 6. He was hoping that the cards landed that way, and they did. I mean, percentage kind of was in favor of that. A lot more than if we had had a full deck of cards to draw from. But man, I mean, just looking at this from a spectator point of view, it amazes me the mental capacity to keep in mind what cards are still available out there on the table to try and go with that high percentage of number efficiency to close out a game. We normally see a lot of people, they'll rely on the chains to be able to win out, but to keep an eye on what card there might be, maybe get that light switch to close it out, that was a masterpiece right there.
Now you got to think, Seth, we're almost 25 minutes. I want to go to Caesar. Caesar, long 25-minute series so far, 2 games in. We're averaging basically 12 and a half. How does that affect your mentality knowing that we're in for the long haul? It's a Final Four game, and we're just getting warmed up. This was the truth. If we had a feeler game, this was it. Game 1, okay, you didn't have all the elements of card history with the +4s, excuse me, the +2s and the wilds lacking. Now everything's on the board. How does that affect the mentality of the players? And said, you got to think, we talked about Yoshi not having a single +4. Well, Tago hasn't had a single wild the whole game, so something's got to give for sure.
Yeah, definitely. It seems like the card gods, they're wanting them to work with just one singular thing here and have at it with that. We'll see if it's a little bit more generous in the dispersion in the upcoming 3rd game, but we're knotted up 1 apiece here, and honestly, with the 2 games that we've seen, I don't really think you can give an advantage to one or the other. They, like I said, they've played each other before. They know the ins and outs of each other, and we're definitely seeing that back and forth, offensive, defensive. It's pretty much a dead tie between these two right now in terms of momentum. We'll see if maybe the momentum shifts in this 3rd game.
We'll see what Caesar. You want to go ahead and read what Caesar said? Go ahead. Oh, I'm out there. Actually, I got it on the watch party view, so you know he basically said you got to stay focused on the endurance games, otherwise some things cross your mind, like how it might have happened. Yeah, and that's overthinking, right? Sometimes you get into this flow state, I call it, where you're in the game, you're in the moment, the adrenaline's pumping, you got one option. Sometimes when it comes down to one choice, you just overthink yourself and you outsmart yourself when it could have just been a simple, oh, I should have just played it normal, right? And it's the beauty of Uno. You got to know when to make that right decision, especially when the ammo's exhausted, so... Great game here so far, Seth. Knotted up. The only difference here is it's into Yoshi. He got the win on the road. He needed to get 1. He got the game 1. He's got the home table, rest of the series. Let's see how he pounces. Let's go to game 3.
Absolutely. We'll turn it over to Caesar and see what we have for our game 3 draw.
Yeah, Caesar just will type it. So I'll go Yoshi. Yoshi, Game 3, buddy. Looking pretty solid here early. Got the first win on that 12-pack. None of that. Everything else is clean. What are we thinking? All right, Seth. Well, he's going to go crazy eights here. It's a classic game. Can he make it a classic finish to get out on the crazy eights? We'll find out.
Just came off a crazy game, so seems only fitting we start off on crazy eights. And, well, we're just going to start out with the red 9. We weren't on red an awful lot in the last game. Let's see how long we run with it here at the beginning of game 3.
Little 9-ball action right here. Let's see if that 9-ball can power Yoshi into a back corner shot on the table on the billiards. Let's see. He'll again with the early draws. I go switches.
That was,
Natural.
I believe, the exact same thing that he did back at the beginning of the second game when we started out in the yellow, an immediate draw. So let's see what the strategy is here. I mean, it's a little bit more likely here with an 8-card draw that you might be out of one color. And now with the swap into the blue, now both of them are going to run.
I mean, this is crazy, Seth. 2 times in a row. It's almost deja vu. You can't get anything cooking. This is where Tago could take advantage now because it's 2-color.
Now look at this. Now swapping back over into the red. He knew that Yoshi drew earlier on the red. He was able to get a red 9, though.
Oh, this is crazy from
Oh,
Tago.
wow.
First wild, too.
Now into the green. Is that what Yoshi needed, though? Is it looked like maybe he was potentially two-handed with the green and the yellow based on what we just saw there with those draws? Oh, man. Never mind. It's going to go back to the blue with the +4.
Little save tactic there. Back to red goes to... We're really playing the light switch game here.
Definitely.
Short.
Oh, we had some red in reserve, and it's the reverse. Little double play there from Yoshi. Now going to take the advantage.
Yeah, Yoshi in the lead somehow when he started the game with the draws, but Tago has the advantage on 2 colors, and we think that's what Yoshi's lacking.
Yeah, Yoshi with the 2 draws, but then, whoa, and there's an answer back into the yellow. Yeah, the 2 light switches we saw there out of Tago, though, we saw an answer from Yoshi. Now we'll see what he's going to be able to do as it's swapped into the color yellow. He's got some more ammo to work with that +4.
Ammo Warren coming into green. That's new.
Mm-hmm. Keeps it with the 0, and now Christian with the green 2.
Yeah, Tago wanted that green wild earlier. Yoshi going to go into red. He gets the... What a play that is.
Ooh, interesting. Look at that. Yeah. We saw Christian go into the red to try and ice out Yoshi. Might have used up all of his red. And now we're going into the draw city again.
Yeah, high percentage from both guys to get out of a jam. You could sense right there, Seth. One of these guys could have had a +4 finish. They both used it early, right, to prevent a finish. Now it's a new refreshed game on the draw city, for sure.
It's amazing how no 2 games are the same. Last game, we were trying to stay away from red. Now we don't have any red. We used it to ice out each other.
Crazy. We'll see who blinks first. You know, Tago, once again, pre-typing. It's been his MO all night. Has something, or does he? It's a mind game for sure. Yoshi's slowing the pace down, of course.
You have to wonder if Yoshi's got something here. You'd have to think if he didn't have some kind of a path, maybe to get over to a color that he wants, that we'd have seen an immediate draw. Maybe not, though. You know,
right now, it's... Go for it.
Go ahead.
No, right now, it really is the mind games, because now, if Yoshi says, well, you want to go play those games speeding up, I'm just going to take as much time as possible and get... It's a battle of chess, right? That's what you love about a Final Four match here. Both guys are playing at their highest level. They know each other's pace management. They know what the mind games and what works. And as you said, they played before in the past. There's a mental notebook there compared to, let's say, if it's a new competitor, for sure.
Yeah, and with maybe trying something a little bit different that will throw the other person off of, you know, maybe what they're used to. Just the canter of the gameplay could be a slight difference, like you said, that can throw them off and maybe force them to change up their thinking just the least little bit. As Yoshi's going to run with the red here. And Christian going to swap it over into the yellow.
No shot there from Tago. And Yoshi's out again, and that's crazy.
Tago going to run with the yellow now. Let's see if Yoshi's got number efficiency to get it off of the yellow.
Really aggressive there from CT to switch it. Same time, if Yoshi's lacking 3 colors here, that'd be something. Blue would have to be the kicker to get it done. We'll find out. It's gonna play cool.
Plays it with the yellow 2. One would have to assume that might have been the card that he drew right there, top deck. Tago
This
going to
time,
keep it in the
Tago.
yellow. Noticing that
Yep.
he's also keeping the numbers very low there, not playing any of the high numbered cards. Oh,
There's the high number from Yoshi. Okay.
interesting.
Now it's once again, Seth. This is the same thing as the last game. Now in a sense, Tayo's whittling it down, and this is where he usually cooks. Number efficiency. Yoshi's been struggling on this in the past. He'll get a second crack at this if we don't get any switches right here. Let's see.
Yeah, I just looked back, and when Yoshi played the yellow 2, he had the yellow 9. He actually drew on yellow early. He's going to draw again. I'm almost wondering if he was keeping either that 2 or that 9, hoping to use them for number efficiency to swap over to another color, but decided to use them, and now we're iced out on yellow.
The ice down yellow once again. Yoshi trying to get these draw series to get some chains going. Hasn't worked much so far in the last, let's say, 10 minutes of the series. The first game it was more, okay, you can run a chain, you can get it going. Now it's become more of a strategic, who gets the cards of fate on Draw City? Who's going to drive out of there with a little bit extra luggage in the trunk?
Yeah, we ended up talking about the Pandora's box in the last game. I feel like the color this time's going to be green because you ended up having Tago. He ended up using a wild to be able to get over to the green. Yoshi immediately countered with the +4 to bring it back to blue. So I feel like if we end up getting that swap over to green, that's when we're going to see the Pandora's box break open in this one. And there it is. There's the green. So let's see what happens from this point on.
Fantastic rebound. Now it's going to come down to Tago. Can he get the fireworks started here? Does he light the candle? He's going to light it right there early.
The +2 into the reverse, into the 3, and you saw right there, he might have had another +2, but he wanted to keep it in the green there. Didn't want to swap it over to another color.
Now Yoshi, does he fire right back and eliminate that green +2 and make it a nullifier? Or does he have something back in reserves?
Might maybe look for the... Oh, he's going to keep it in the green. I was going to think maybe he might go for the color swap. We saw him take it immediately off green into blue earlier. Oh, wow.
Tago's out.
So now this might be the opportunity for Yoshi to be able to run.
He might be able to run. The question becomes now is, can he get an 8 here? Can he get the number? Can he play the right numbers now? It's working so far.
We've seen number efficiency even come right down to the very end in the close of the second game. Believe we've only had one of the +4s played so far. We've had 2 of them. Never mind.
One wild, though. One regular wild. Haven't seen much of the wilds for Tago, but Yoshi's getting more of the regular wilds for sure. He's going to draw it here. Okay. He's going to play with him.
So
Well, bait slack there from Yoshi. He's not gonna push the pace so far. He gets a little top deck, trying to cut down to the gap. Oh, but Tago gets what he wants here. Once again, fireworks show.
Gets the swap over to the red. Little ditto play there.
Oh,
Yoshi.
aggressive here, Seth. Here's aggressive.
Immediate swap over into the yellow. So the question is was he out of red? Or does he have something maybe to chain over to the red with yellow?
This is probably the most aggressive Tago's been all night since he's only had a couple chances at the regular wild. He might as well go for it.
Now we saw him in the second game after being down 1-0. Maybe a little bit more on the defensive. Now with it tied up 1 apiece, to your point, a little bit more on the offensive here with the color swaps and the ammo use. We're going to continue to run in yellow here for a bit. Playing it cool, just with the numbers for the time being. And here we go.
He's going to try to make the firework explosion early. Can he tie it right here? Double and a triple. Yep.
Brings it over to blue. Is Tago able to work with that color? Yes, he is. Little double play of his own. Brings him down to only 2 cards remaining.
Oh, man. What a play. What a play. I think Yoshi crossed himself up there, Seth. We got to ask him on that. Great play from the ammo save from Tago. Go ahead.
Yeah, Yoshi ended up having him pretty well scouted there with the color swap, but then bringing it back to the blue there. I mean, was it just a matter of you just didn't have the ammo to be able to get it off of the color that he needed?
So yeah, I mean, I did. I think I think there was something that I could have done differently to win this game. But given the position I was in, I was hoping that that wild yellow meant that he had more yellows than he ended up having. So my idea was to go to blue, and if he went back to yellow, then I had a path to victory. But he didn't fall for it. Given his hand though, it makes sense why, because he hit if he, I feel like if it was any other color then maybe, um, but yeah, it was a good idea. It's just unfortunate that his last two cards that were in wilds were also blue, so that just made things easier for him.
Yeah, Tago, we ended up seeing you with a lot of the light switches there. Saw you eventually go from the red into the yellow. Now, it looks like you already had a path to be able to get over to the blue if you needed to there, but did it make it a little bit easier when the color swap happened to be blue there?
As he's typing this out, Seth, it's crazy to think that Yoshi's played more cards in this game, right? But he's not winning the series. And that just shows you efficiency, right? It comes down to that number efficiency where you think you can win any series playing more cards, but in Uno, if you're the more efficient player, I'm not going to say 9 times, about 7 times out of 10, you're able to win the games. And he says, go ahead and read that comment. Go for it.
He says if we didn't go to blue, he would have played it differently. That's interesting because looking back at it here, it looks like he only had the blue skip and the blue 6 left over after the swap along with the wild and the +4. So that would have been interesting to see how he would have played it differently to get it over to those two cards.
It's the aggression, man. I mean, that's the beauty of this league, Seth, and I always talk about the aggression. What separates the best players from, let's say, 30th, right? Because first through 30th is pick your poison at this rate. It's that aggression level and knowing when to play the right percentage at the right time. And well, at the end of the day, if Tago says he's going to play it differently, let's say we go to red, does he even think about it, or does he say, let's hold off on those? Because when you play a wild and +4, a combo, you can get a finish. But if you play the wild +4, you're giving those cards back in return. So do you go regular wild there to hope that you offset it? How do you hide the fade? Look, it's a different juxtaposition, but I think we got to definitely watch that reverse skip meta because Yoshi's destroying Tago and reverse skips combined. Good old 17 and 9. But I say but because Tago's got only 2 +4s and +2s combined with the wilds. So realistically, it's an even game. The question is who's going to win? Is it the reverse skip meta? Or does Tago's wild +4s with a little kicker on the number efficiency start to come into play? Because if he can get this 3-1, Tago's power play efficiency is top tier. This is a pivotal game for Yoshi to get this one back for sure.
Absolutely. I think that to your point there, with the two different playstyles, I think it's going to come down to timing here in this third game. We know we're at least going to make it to a game 5, and we'll see what's going to happen here in this fourth game upcoming. See if Yoshi can draw this back even 2-2.
All right, Yoshi, same deal as always. Just no 12-pack. What's we got in store for G4? We're going to full send it. We talk about these full senders being risky. Here we go. 15 cards. It's going to be a risk. Full send
there
in the
you
building.
go. There's the full send flag.
There it is. We're sending it. Toast Reverse, one of the OGs. In terms of the full center, going crazy with it. This is going to be a good one here, Seth. 15 card. Yoshi is throwing the kitchen sink right early.
Let's see what he does with it. Does he just play it cool with the red reverse? Does he use it? Nope, just playing it cool there with the red 2. And they're both going to run in the red. This is with the higher count of cards in their hands. This is where it gets really interesting because you don't want to really be the one that blinks first could put yourself boxed into a situation you're not able to get out of.
Double red one to start off the Ditto play. That's interesting. A little Ditto action here early in the game. We haven't seen many Dittos, so that's
No,
a little
not
mirror
many.
playing. Yep. There's the switch. So that's interesting. So that first time on that, Yoshi's going to be the initiator on the switch.
We saw him with the full send. Maybe he feels that right now he's got to be the aggressor. He saw that Tago was the aggressor back in the last game, trying to flip the role, and Tago says, all right, we're going right back to red here. We spent enough time on blue. And Yoshi
Not
says,
so
nope,
fast, my
not so
friend."
fast.
Not so fast. We're back to blue.
Oh my gosh.
This is the fun part of Uno, man. Oh, Yoshi's out. That's crazy. So now the question is, can Tago play the numbers right? That's
Red
an early
versus
wild from
blue,
Tago.
Uno style.
Yeah, this is real. Tago aggressive. That's aggressive right there, Seth. He's going aggressive.
Keeping it in the red there as well. Yoshi going to continue to draw. Advantage to Tago for the moment. Now he's just hoping for the number efficiency here. Man.
Nothing.
Yoshi
He's iced out.
Completely dry on red. Not yet able to find a number efficiency to get it off of color red.
And the hard part here is, Seth, when you play a light switch like Tago, all it takes is one switch here if you think it's wrong as Monkey joins us. It's game, right? You switch now, it could be one turn, full swoop, it's over. That's the risk Yoshi's got to play here. Again with the ammo control. You could have used those double plus twos earlier on the red, for sure.
Now down to 4 cards. What kind of ammo could this have given Yoshi? Not necessarily certain he can draw back as of yet, but he can certainly keep Tago a little bit further away from the finish line.
More people coming. There's ALP. Here comes Yoshi looking to fire back. Does he use it? He's got to use something here. He's going to go for the +4.
There
That'll
you
keep it
go.
alive.
Into the green. That'll at least draw Tago back just a little bit. Does it throw him off, though? No! He'll immediately say, all right, green, I'll double into the skip, green 7.
Yeah, right now it's firing on all cylinders for both players. Yoshi's got to fire something back. Right now it's a chess war on who can get the right efficiency. And there's Tago on the green 4.
Now swapping it over into the blue, and it seemed like in this game and the previous game, we talk about the preempting there of Tago, but it seems like anything that Yoshi's thrown to try and throw Tago off kilter, Tago's had an answer for.
And Tago, the light switch master, you'll finally draw here early. He needs to find a little bit of a number, and Yoshi's going to be content, though, to go back. Tago top decks.
Let's see if Yoshi does anything with that. He was content. Oh, he's going to content with the draw. Now the color swap that Tago needed into the yellow. Oh,
In the red now. Oh, back to yellow,
back
says
to the
Tago.
yellow. Oh, I wondered if the red was going to ice him out, but he had the wild card to save him.
Does Yoshi throw another yellow +2 if he has
Oh,
it?
right back to the red. What a play.
What is that, all 4? That's got to be all 4,
I
right? On the wall?
think it is. I'm pretty sure.
No,
So-
3. We got one more to go.
I was going to say
Holy
at least 3
moly.
of the 4, if not all of them.
Man, well, Tago iced out again. Could he play the right... Could Yoshi play the right numbers is the key, once again.
That's going to be definitely the key here. Got to have the number efficiency. Right now, 3 times the amount of cards in his hand than Tago has. And now we're heading into maybe a draw city here.
Well, he's not playing the numbers because he's scared to play the numbers, right?
Right,
because
exactly.
If you play one number, it could be game over with this light switch, or he's just trying to limit the number switches. That's all he's doing, for sure.
Right now, a bit of a stalemate. Does not want to put the ball back in Tago's court. Waiting on Tago to make the first move here. Oh, now Yoshi is actually going to swap it over into the green. Tago will run with that with the 9.
Well, right now you got to think about this here, Seth. with this game being a little bit more ebb and flow on the colors, Tago hasn't found the rhythm on these greens because earlier in the game, he faded off. He needs that yellow connection, and if Yoshi can just avoid the numbers he wants, it could work. We'll go to blue. That's a neutral color for both so far. Looking back at this game. Because yellow hasn't been played hard in that one yellow 8. It's been more of a +4 wild duel for sure.
Yes, definitely. We had the yellow
Well,
for
there we go.
Ooh, into green. And
That's
he's
it.
going to
We're out of
ice
the
him
regular.
out.
We're done with the regular wilds now. This is a game of who can get the top decks and who can get the yellow, because only one yellow has been played. That's
There was
going
a
to be the
top
key.
deck there for Tago.
Yoshi's out.
Let's see if Tago's got a number efficiency to swap. No, he does not.
Yeah, Yoshi's really wanted to go draw city, but the problem is usually things draw city work, but this could be a case where we're not getting those +2s where we saw that one game with a +4 at the bottom. Everyone thought the +2s are at the bottom, right? That's the beauty of Uno. Not every single game is going to be the same, and how you adjust to the fly is what Yoshi's going to say. Hey, you know what? Use that last wild. There's no more left. It's this percentage Uno that we're seeing that's making the game a little bit different. As you can see, Tago will go for it himself with the blue.
Got the +2s. We've also got a number of the skips and reverses still out there for color swaps if necessary. As Yoshi's going to swap it over to the yellow here.
Tago wanted. That's what he wanted for sure.
Exactly what he wanted.
Yoshi's got to find something. Unless Tago only had 2 yellows, which I'd be very stunned by. This is exactly what Tago needs.
Keeping it in the yellow. See if Tago has an answer. There's one of the reverses. Double play there. Down to 4 cards.
It's becoming another deja vu moment here, Seth. How many times have we said this series? Tago in that danger zone to finish. Yoshi's got to find an answer on number efficiency or actual ammo. And there's the number efficiency.
Wow.
Again.
Into the blue. Is that the color he needs to make a run? Oh, there you go. There's the kill shot, at least for the moment, to stop the momentum. The +4 into the green. But Tago says, I'll go right back into the blue again.
Unbelievable. How many times have we seen that from Tago all night? Yoshi goes trip 6 into the Devils.
Puts it back into yellow. Tago going to be able to run with that. Might have gotten that yellow 2 on the +4.
Yellow 0 sugar from Yoshi. Tago's iced out. Wow.
Look at that.
But once again, it doesn't matter what Tago's done all night. He's still pre-typing. He's trying to try everything to get Yoshi's mindset off.
Now it's back to the pressure on Yoshi for the number efficiency. We've seen a lot of times here, even in this game, where he's made the color swap over, been able to ice out Tago, but just 1 or 2 cards that he plays, Tago's able to find an avenue to get back to a color that puts him back at the advantage. And KT, you talked about it as well. It looks like Yoshi's going to go for a little double here. Nope, maybe a little triple, reverse into a skip. The efficiency of the use of the power play, I mean, is Game 4 too early to use the power play if you're Tago? Because you've been iced out quite a number of times. Do you need that power play to get the 3-1 advantage? Do you keep that in reserve a little bit longer?
He's probably the first time all night with the ices. He's probably the first time he's thinking about another +4.
Wow.
And that talk. Unbelievable.
For just a brief moment, Yoshi had the advantage, 5 to 6 cards, and Tago utilizing that +4. Question is, was it used too early? Could he have utilized that for a little bit later on? Does he have anything else in reserve there?
Right now, it's tick for tack here, Seth.
It is.
Not a +2. Yeah, they're a +2 there from Yoshi. Tago seems to have had the advantage in this game specifically, but the problem for Yoshi is every time he tries to get a lead, either a +4 or the wrong numbers play. It's hard to get out of that mindset. As a nutter, seems like the billionth time, draw city once again, gets out of it.
See how long we run with this one.
Just make sure here. Yeah, once again, Seth, another endurance battle in store.
closing in, about 25 cards left in the deck. Okay, we're swapping over into the green. Yoshi
Nothing
with
for
the
Yoshi.
draw. Wow.
Tago likes this. This is his chance. This is his chance, Seth. You can see it.
Hits the +2 into the 5. Let's see if Yoshi... Okay, so Yoshi was able to, probably with that +2, was able to find a green. Tago now having to go into the draw. Might have been
That's fine,
relying on
though.
number efficiency to get the color swap. He didn't get it.
It's okay, though, because Yoshi's drawing as well. Yoshi's just been having to play this very conservatively right on the draw cities, and Tago's trying to play aggressive. Here's his chance. Can he get the switch? No. Yoshi, if he has another 6, could go back to that. As long as it's in green. But he's going to give him the free choice.
Yep, goes over to the blue. Whoa!
Tago's out. 2 color.
Wow, I feel like both of them might be at 2 color right now.
Oh, man. Well, at this rate, Seth, we don't have much left. It's going to have to be the +2. We're down to 15 cards. For sure. Never mind. There's the switch.
Over into the
yellow.
I believe both... Yeah, I was going to say, I believe both players... One of the 2 cards or colors they've got is the yellow, so we might run with this, or we might end up having one of them go with the color swap again to try and throw the other off.
Gotta think here for Yoshi. He's been all night trying to get Draw City. When's that luck going to run out and Tago makes the break? Because one thing we know, Seth, there's still one more skip and a whole bunch of +2s remaining. All it will take for Tago is one skip in the right color or reverse, and bang, he's got those +2s. Game over. There's a +4 lurking, but at this rate, I think someone's safe. I don't know if it'd be one of the last cards at this rate.
Yoshi taking his time thinking about this one, which he has to do, to your point. If he doesn't have the cards necessary to be able to string together a run, if he doesn't have a lot of those +2s there to be able to build up Tago's deck a little bit more, he's got to be careful that he doesn't play the card that's going to give Tago that opportunity. They're both going to run in the yellow here a little bit longer.
Caesar just pulling out 74 color switches. Next one will be 75 combined.
Wow.
We'll see how that goes. A lot of switches.
Tago out of the yellow.
Yoshi looking to get this down to 1 possession. He's only led a little bit in this crazy game so far. He's going to draw back nothing. Yeah, we're definitely, the more and more we keep drawing, Seth, either someone wants that reshuffle, which could favor Tago because the deck is free as we go into a yellow 1 there, or Yoshi's got to find a way to maybe generate something on a reverse skip because Tago's going to be content if we go into a reshuffle for sure.
Little top deck there for Tago, but they're both going to still be iced out of yellow. And now Yoshi with the play as well with the yellow 3.
Ditto.
A little Ditto. Did they both just top deck Ditto cards?
That's no. Well, hold the phone. Hold the phone. Switch
Into the red. Oh, Yoshi there with the yellow 0. They continue to run in the red. It's a matter of who blinks first right now.
Tago right now finding everything on number efficiency. Yoshi's been trying to get the draws as we go into one of our OGs commentators, Sean Arn in the building. Sean, welcome. If you haven't missed much, it's been a great game. This is supposedly preseason Uno. It hasn't felt like preseason, Seth.
Not at all.
No, this is feeling like a chess match more of a round 1 game, if anything.
Tago running with the red. I just went and looked back. He was actually the one that swapped it off of red into the blue, but that was a long time ago. We were in Draw City a couple of times since then, so not surprising to see him running with the red at this point in time. And again, down to around that 5-card mark, so Yoshi... I'm almost wondering here, KT, if he doesn't have those +2s. Because otherwise, I think we would have seen him be just a little bit quicker in his play. He's considering right now, maybe feeling that the +2s are all over on the other side of the table, and he doesn't want to play into that.
I mean, 8 cards left. It's percentage Uno, right? You got to time out what's left, what's not left, and does your opponent have those +2s? Or is that 1 +4? But at this rate, don't think that matters. That's going to have to be a finishing card. Here comes Yoshi looking to make a little run right here. Can he get this within 2 or 3 possessions will be key. Here we go.
Swaps it over into the blue. Hits the
+2
blue
now.
+2. Oh, wow.
Oh,
Oh,
here we
wow.
go.
Look at this run.
Not a finisher, but now the percentage, comes into play. We talked about those +2s. Bang, just like that. The all +2s are gone. Now Tago's on the offense. What does he do here?
Does he answer back potentially here? Now Yoshi with the advantage.
Would have to be a green +2 into a reverse yellow combo. There's the skip. We're out of skips now in yellow. Seth's been doing fantastic, by the way, Art.
Keeps it in the yellow, and
Oh.
Yoshi back to the red.
Oh, the blue
Oh,
goes
but
Tago.
not so. Are we going back to red versus blue? We had that little back and forth earlier on.
I'd be surprised, Seth, because the red 5s are out, so the game would be cracked if we did that. The only way would have to be a +4 regular. Let's see.
And we're 2 cards away from a reshuffle here as well.
That's game.
Oh, wow, look at the chain!
That's
Yoshi
a mistake on
with
Tago.
the quad to finish it off.
That's a mistake on Tago, Seth. Think about it. That's one switch is too many. He's going to be kicking himself. If he just stays the course a little earlier. Yep, and that's got to hurt. Let's ask him that question. Go ahead, Seth.
Absolutely. I mean, Christian, incredible job there of kind of keeping Yoshi on the back foot, but then the color swap's not necessarily working out in your favor right there. I mean, maybe could have kept it in the color that I believe was in the red there, and maybe forced it into a draw city, get that redraw with the deck. I mean, hindsight's 20/20, but I mean, you had that +4 in hand there. I've talked about the fact that it's a matter of who blinks first. If you go back and you look at that last couple of sequences there, is it the +4, or are you looking to just like maybe put it back into a draw city to extend this thing out? And while you're typing that there, he says he also had a lot of greens there. I mean, Yoshi, I mean, talk about a complete turnaround. Looked like you were on the defensive with a lot of the color swaps there in the early to mid portion of this game, but it seemed like all of a sudden the script flipped and you were back on the offensive there. The number efficiency, the use of the ammo there in the closing stages. Talk to me about that, because that quad at the end from out of nowhere, you had those in reserve and found the chain you needed.
Yeah, there's a lot I had to do. It was it was very scary because like Tago being down as low as he was a lot of the times, I really had to be very careful with what I did with my ammo. What it came down to, I think, was just like having those like hunches that the game could end at any moment because I know that I don't have a +4. There's one left. He could have it. Maybe he has those remaining other extra ammo cards. I tried to play I tried to look more. I tried to make sure that I wasn't miscounting or anything. Like I had to time it as best as I could have, really. Um, I honestly, it wasn't in my game plan for him to switch into blue, but I was just secretly hoping that would happen, because that allowed me to win a turn earlier. If he kept it red, I would have had to play a red 4 and hope that he just had to stay red. Um, but yeah, that switch to blue was definitely key there.
Tago with saying that because he lost there, he still has a full send he might be able to utilize here in this matchup. Just a follow-up quick question for you there, Yoshi. You know, I looked like to me, and I obviously was incorrect, it looked like maybe you were suspecting the +2s to be over on the other side of the table, and you had a couple of them there. Did you have like a number in your head if he got down to a certain number, that was when those +2s were going to come out, and make absolutely certain that you iced him out, kept him away from potentially having a run to the end?
Yeah, I think those +2s, it's definitely very worrying, right? Yeah, I had to look into everything while keeping it at a pace that I thought was gonna maybe give Tago a different kind of perception of what I was going for. So I don't know. I think yeah, the +2s were definitely in very possible. Um, but I knew that I had +2s as well. I mean, I yeah, with what was left, I felt like yeah, I had to really work around what I had and just went for something. I mean, there were many opportunities in this game where I could have power played, but doing it in this game just didn't feel right because if I used it and then Well, okay, I would have used it to win the game, obviously, a turn earlier. But just being only using a power play to just tie it up is just doesn't feel right. So I had to really make sure that I found a way to win this game without needing that power play.
Both have the power play still in reserve. This series is tied up at 2 apiece, and looking at the statistics, there's the conclusion of this game, KT. It's interesting because we mentioned about the fact Tago, he likes to start with those high card counts, but the 12 card game and now the 15 card full send, he's been on the losing end of. So I don't know, little statement here by Yoshi.
Statement, but he's out of 15 right now. There's two things you got to watch here. We talked about Yoshi Game 6. Well, we're going to a Game 6 no matter what. That's confirmed because Yoshi won that game. We're going to have to go 6 in this one, at minimum. The thing here is, though, Seth, we talked about Christian Tile light switching. He's losing the light switch battle by 2 switches. Now he's got to think, okay, I'm losing the light switch battle. I've had a lot of the +4s early on offense, but Yoshi's been able to play in a draw city. Now we have something new here. That we talked about the element of surprises. Yoshi wants draw city. Tago's got to avoid draw city. Completely different than what we were expecting compared to, let's say, I don't know, a half hour ago when this series began. That's an element of surprise. Caesar, we talked about, we'll go to you here real quick before we start the next game. We talk always about saving your stuff. Are we really saving our stuff here, or are we going full throttle here? Because I'm not seeing much saving tonight. If we are, this is some really good foreshadowing if they're saving stuff. Because this has been some high-level boss gameplay. What would you say, Seth? There's been no saving so far. It's been maxed out to the throttle.
Yeah, definitely. They've kept the throttle down here, been trying to keep each other on the back foot, trying to maybe in a way kind of mentally mess up the opponent, cause them to make a mistake. I said the moniker it has seemed that it has been in all 4 of the games played so far is who blinks first, because whoever blinks first, sometimes it works out in their favor, but most often we've ended up seeing that it ends up forcing them into a mistake, and it actually turns over the momentum to the other person. Another thing that I'm also noticing here as well, and you talked about it, we're getting ready to start getting into these late games here, and this is when you got to start to think about that power play. Both of these guys know that it's waiting in the wings. I don't... You said we're going to at least get to a game 6. Do you want to use that power play to get the advantage here in game 5? Maybe have that be the momentum to close this thing out? Like, I don't like... Me personally, I wouldn't like having that pressure on me and trying to figure out when the right time to play it is here because of how evenly matched these two have been. And you talked about the kind of the unorthodox strategy on both of these guys' part, on the losing end and winning side of scenarios that we don't normally statistically see them on. They both said at the beginning of the night they have a plan B. Are we shifting into plan B right now? Are we pulling out that backup playbook? We'll have to wait and see.
We've been on plan C and D. Let's go to that game 5 pivotal game right here. It's back in Christian Tago's favor here, Seth. We'll see what he pulls. Before we get to this call, you talked about this high stuff hasn't working, but will that mid-tier work? Tago, no 11-8, but you got a pretty free board. Otherwise, what are we thinking here? Game 5, pivotal one. Lucky 13. Will it be lucky?
13.
We'll find out.
All right.
Caesar will load us in. Pivotal game 5 right here. Nothing to really hold these guys down. Caesar loads us up. Seth, take us on the call. Here we go.
See what we end up getting for our first card here. The last couple of hands have not been kind to Yoshi. He's had to do some early drawing in the last 2 games. Let's see if the starting card color is going to be a little bit kinder to him here as Tago getting ready to play off of the green 7. So we have lucky 13 and then lucky or unlucky number 7. Interesting start there.
Well, Tago is not wasting time, Chef Seth. He's going for a double play into Goldie as well as the Vapor. This is aggressive here from Tago as Yoshi will run it clean with the 0 sugar.
So maybe trying to get that little boost of momentum to kick this thing off. Well, no, Tago into the draw. Might have been the only 2 greens he had. Might have been hoping for a little number efficiency to get over the color swap. Now Yoshi's got to be smart, knowing with Tago out of green. Oh, he's going to stay with the drawing as well. So even if he did have green, feeling that right now, having Tago continue to draw, iced out on the green, might be his best play.
A rare switch, rare 0 sugar switch as well, very rare.
See if
The
Yoshi
red.
will run with the red. Yes, he will.
One possession here, Seth. This is a pivotal moment. When it's one possession, it can really come down to, okay, do you make the first move on an ammo play? Does that start the ammo war? Do you play control as we go ditto? That's what they're feeling out. Is once again Tago is just going to be the first one to draw here. We talked about him not liking draw saves. So it's a little bit different change of pace for sure.
Yeah, and you talked about how close the card count is in the hands, and that just makes the decisions tougher because you know that the momentum can shift one way or the other. If you're down by 4, 5, 6 cards, then if I've got some ammo, all right, well, there's going to be a point. Hopefully, I'll be able to play those, build that guy's hand back up. I can go on the offensive here, but right now you have to very carefully balance out whether you want to be playing offensively or defensively, keeping those card counts as close as possible, trying to see if you can find some kind of a chain to gain the advantage.
83 light switches in this game combined. The light switch
Gracious.
counter has been up and up. We're
breaking
probably going to
100.
hit that. Yeah, easy. Hit that central mark for sure. 2 extra games confirmed, maybe 3 in the back pocket. We're going to hit over 100. Question is now the ammo. There's the ammo set. Just called it. That's the first shot.
Swapping it from the blue over to the yellow. Adding 2 cards to Yoshi's hand. And now just like that, puts it a 2-to-1 ratio advantage for Tago. Does Yoshi answer back? Or does he just run here with the yellow for the moment? He'll go into the yellow reverse. Might be looking to go back. Okay, he's going to go into the red.
Not ending around. Something new. And that's what Tago needed. Once again, number of fish. Working in Tago's favor.
Over into the green. Interesting play there. And now that's what Yoshi wants. He's going to double with the +2 into the 5. Both these guys not meaning to, but with these swaps, they're playing into each other's hands just at least a little bit.
Tago out again. Interesting. No green for Tago. This is interesting here, Seth, because once again it's 2 color, and this is where Yoshi could pounce for once. He hasn't had the momentum all night on offense. He's been playing very good defensively. Does he finally get some momentum to get that 3-2?
And remember, Tago was burned out of green at the very beginning, played the reverse double, and then immediately had to draw. So in the green for just a brief moment there.
That's game. Yep.
Yes, it is. Wow. Look at that chain.
Could not do much. I think the only thing you really could ask there, Seth, is just maybe a little early on the ammo that maybe forced it. Let's go ahead and ask Tago on that little four bagger that really cost, I guess, him in the sense that he had to play early.
Yeah, Tago, I mean, the green iced out early. It came back as well. You were trying, it looked like, to get it off of green. What did you have in terms of ammo there to maybe try and get it off of that color? Obviously, we saw Yoshi was trying to stay in that, had the chain necessary to get there. Did you have anything in your back pocket to be able to play a little defense at that point in time? While he's typing it out, Yoshi, I mean, it looked like you had a couple of options there. You had the green skip, you had the red skip. I mean, was there, if there was a color swap over to the red, did you still have a path there? Looked like you had a couple of different avenues, a couple of different options with the ammo there at the close.
Yeah, so in the moment where I had pretty good hand, I'm pretty sure I didn't have the +4 until he +2'd me. So that allowed me to have like a lot of options. So I definitely could have. So what I could have done is I could have kept it yellow, but I just didn't feel safe. So I was just like, let me just. I had an idea in my head where I switch to red if he draws, I go to green, and he actually ends up going to green for me. Just play that green 5. I had +2s at the back end, so that ended up working out because just in case he had to finish, I made sure to stop that, and yeah, and then from there I was able to finish. Yeah, I think unfortunate that his +2 it was unfortunate that his +2 ended up being his undoing there because that gave me the +4.
Oh, wow. We have Tago saying he had the wilds but was worried about the +2s, and that kind of goes back to what I was saying, KT, that you end up having that bit of a gap between yourself and the other in terms of card count. When you're the one that's down there with the less amount of cards, you got to be careful because potentially those offensive cards are going to come out, build your hand back up, and while playing offensively, also having to be a little bit defensive. And as we just heard there from Yoshi, unfortunately, his undoing with the +2.
Well, now Yoshi's in a power spot. He's got the power play. He can finish it off at any time. But Tygo, once again, so we talked about this thing. He hasn't been able to cook on this high number. It's out of his control. Yoshi's been able to cook on the high starts, but it's it's game 6 and 7. Can he figure out a way to close it? If we get to that game 7, anything can happen. And I think Tygo, he wouldn't be afraid to use the power play here, especially knowing it's 3-3. Anything can happen on that last game 7 where it usually does. I got a feeling Yoshi's going to keep it up, but I could be surprised. 10's also a mid-tier play. Still will just be the borderline. There's a lot of ways you can go with the card start. I think it's going to come down to pressure management. Now Yoshi's done a great job on defense and offense how to win games. But now it comes down to can he win on pressure management. If he can do that, then we'll see if he can figure it out and get the job done. Let's find out. All right, Yoshi, game 6. No 12, 13, 15. Have I alluded to that 14? Let's find out. What we got? He's going to mid-tier. Where are we going, though? 10, 7, 8, or 9? 10. All right,
10.
we'll go to that 10. All right. Here we go, Seth, for the call. Green 2.
All right. Up 3-2. Yoshi on Tago. This could be the game, but KT, you talked about it. You gave me those key notes there at the beginning. The efficiency of the power play. And that doesn't necessarily mean offensive. That could also mean in a defensive way for Tago. Immediately, we're swapping over into the yellow. I feel like we've seen Tago be aggressive with the light switches. We've seen him with an aggressive play style all night. I feel like we're turning it up to 11 right now because this right now I think is his wheelhouse. We're entering into the latter stages of this series. Now this is where he's going to start to try and cook.
Well, Yoshi, early draw, Tago can run that. That's what he needs. That's the first step to getting momentum. Early draws. That's the recipe for Tago. In a game 6, those early draws actually matter. Early in the series, okay. That actually is okay. But now when they get to their pressure moments, that's what you want. You want to build a cushion to get a little advantage. And here comes Tago on the offense. He could have a play right here. Could make this game a little bit broken open. Let's find out.
See if the number
He
efficiency,
does.
look at that, into the blue. Interesting play there to utilize. We see him end on the blue 1. He could have swapped over to the blue 1 off the yellow 1, but he elected to utilize the yellow skip to chain up to that blue 1 there, getting rid of a number of cards, utilizing some ammo, and getting him down to 3 remaining.
Yoshi got a couple options. He can go back to yellow and flip the script, or does he try something different? We'll find out.
And when we were in this type of a scenario in the last game, we ended up, Tago told us, he said, I was worried about those +2s. There's a +4. So there goes the question I was just about to ask about does he play a little bit reserved and worrying about those +2s?
Oh, man.
Brings it
Tago.
back to blue.
He could be heavy on no yellow. This is what Yoshi wants, actually, because this could be a deficiency for Tago he does not need. But he has the cushion. We talked about it. In the game 6, you want a cushion. You don't want to be down in terms of card numbers. This is a big moment right here. 2 color. Wow.
Look at that. Great play there by Yoshi with the blue 0.
He's content. Yeah,
Yes,
but
he
Tago
is.
top decks.
Oh, boy.
It's a danger zone. This is a danger zone. Tago can switch it and break it open any moment.
Yoshi
Not going to,
draws, and Tago does not have the 6 to be able to swap the color over.
Let's see what will be from Yoshi right here.
Card count pretty close. 4 card difference.
switch it
Yoshi
over
with the
himself.
swap. Believe that is the first time we swapped over to green since the start.
This is
Back
what
where we
Yoshi wants.
began.
Tago into red. Okay. That's Pandora's. Does Yoshi respond? He will. Double play. Tago quick on the throttle right there. So he's quick on the trigger for sure.
It's like Tago willing to run in the red for a while here. Let's see if Yoshi continues as
Nothing.
well. He's going to draw. Tago continuing to run in the red. Can Yoshi find a way to swap it off? It looks like red is the color Christian wants for the moment.
This is for the win, though. Here comes Yoshi. Plus
There
4.
you
That
go.
top deck. Oh, huge play right there.
Into the green reverse. Gonna look to chain a little bit more potentially here. This will, I think, give him the advantage. It does indeed.
2 possession Tago, though. He has a chance to play number efficiency. There it is. Just about to say, he'll go to blue.
And ices out Yoshi.
Yep. There's Tago with the lead, just like that. 1 possession in his favor. Back and forth we go. Tied up. Tago looking to get it back. He will.
Yoshi with the top deck. Tago with the blue 1. Looking for a preemptive strike. Already typing. Let's see what Yoshi does here. Does he have any number to swap over? No, he does not.
Tago does.
He'll
Red
swap
1.
it, though. Back into the
Number
red.
efficiency. Yes, sir. Number efficiency from Tago.
This is what he
Yoshi
was.
in a white
There you
yellow.
go. Yeah, this was the red was what Tago was cooking. Oh, wow, and he brings it back.
Incredible. We've seen so many sequences of that tonight. Remember, Game 3 was the big one where the momentum flipped over to Yoshi and then Tago and back to Yoshi. Can Yoshi have another way to get back to yellow? That'd be insane.
Down to 2 cards. No power play from Tago. Waiting to see what Yoshi's got.
Yeah, man, that's crazy. He's an icer. Maybe a crazy ice. He's going to power play for the win?
Whoa.
No.
Is this going to do it?
No, it's not. He just did a quick green 8. Wow, flip over.
Interesting. Might have felt that Tago had something to close this out. He's going to play a green 8, though. Brings it back down to 2 again.
Nothing from Tago.
Can't run it in the green. Didn't have the color he needed to finish it out. Does Yoshi have anything here?
No, but he's got the yellow.
Oh, into the yellow.
But Tago's
Tago's got the yellow. We're down to 2-1.
Is that game? I think that's
That
game, Seth.
could
It's got to
be
be.
game.
Yep.
Yes, it is. The yellow +2 to close it out.
Yeah, Tago, he had a red, but he didn't use the power play. Got to ask him on that. What is it a finisher if he did? Interesting.
Absolutely. Tago, we ended up seeing you down to 2 cards. You elected not to go with the power play. Did you have an avenue if the power play had been utilized to be able to close this thing out, or was just the cards not there?
Just the 5.
Just the 5. Oh, man. What a slugfest. Yoshi, back and forth and back and forth. You were trying constantly to keep him off of red. Seemed like you sensed that was what he was looking for the finisher. You got it over the color you needed. Were able to ice him out. We talked about it at the beginning of the night. We get into these later games and a little 50-50 on you being able to find success. And you mentioned it, keeping your head in the game. You were able to do that here. But how difficult in these closing stages of this back and forth Game 6 was it to make sure that you balanced out the defensive and the offensive plays? Because the ammo was definitely on both sides.
Yeah, it's always like, it's like when you use a power play like that, it's like I'm either just wasting it or I win the game. And I wanted to take the chance because the card that I drew, it's like the card I drew, it's like something was telling me I need to power play here, because I drew a red. My last draw was a red 8, and I'm like, he went to red, or no, so okay, my last draw was that blue was when he played the blue 1. He went to red. I didn't like that. I wanted to give him +2. He had a wild of his own. He's at 2. He could have a +4. I'm like, I mean, that last draw was a red 8. Everything's in my power to win this. If everything works out, I can win it right here. And he only has 2. I figured that if he doesn't win here, he's gonna have to draw. Like, things just seemed it seemed like clear cut that like I could just go for it, and not power playing not to finish is always a risk. Even if like if you were in my position, you would be like, oh yeah, that's a good idea, but it's always a risk. because what if Tago had a +4? Like the game would have kept going. Like it's always something where I just you just have to go with your gut and you have to take risks. Like I've made mistakes like this before where I use a power play that's not to finish the set, um, and it backfiring on me. But I didn't want to just make me. I didn't want that to be the reason that I would never do something like that again. It just wasn't my set, and this was my set. I was able to use it in a way that it was either going to work out or was going to fail horribly, and I went for it, and so glad it worked out because you know, it goes to show that some of the mistakes I made could actually be game-winning moves, and Tago just the way he was playing. I mean, his defense was pretty much as good as mine. He had the knowledge. He had a lot of knowledge on what I was drawing on. Like him switching to blue was or him switching to. He had a lot of good switches where I just ran out of stuff. I mean, I sometimes you just get that one card off the draw that just gives you like a vision that you have to just and like it just tells you that you have to go for it. And yeah, I mean, I did beat some of my demons with the 15 card start and the 10 card start, which I guess was my goal here since that uh I knew Tago was going to be a tough opponent, so like yeah, I'm just relieved that I got the win.
Took the gamble and it definitely paid off. Sweeping the final 3 games of this series, winning it 4-2. And KT, I mean, we knew it was going to be a slugfest. We saw the back and forth, but yeah, I want to touch on what we just heard there from Yoshi. I bet there were a couple of times, maybe multiple times in this game on both ends where there was the slight hesitation of, do I risk it with this play? Because it could work out in my favor, it could not work out in my favor. I've seen what my opponent on the other side is able to do, and it all comes down to that gut feeling, sometimes a little mind over matter.
Well, mind over matter, and we talk about demons. Well, your Tago at the end of the day was just a 5, was just the 8. Okay, so he had a split of maybe 2 different colors. He was basically banking on a. I'm going to assume Tago, you were banking on a possible play the red 5 there and hope he cracks Toaster Guy strat, right? On an 8. Is that what we're looking for? A little Toaster? Yeah, okay. I figured that Toaster Guy cracked like an 8 strat. It works, but you got to know when to use it. I think it was a good play there, especially considering you couldn't have used the power play. But you look at this game, it was a practice series. I think both guys got what they needed, right? Tyler's probably going to say it's practice, learn some things. Yoshi's going to say, hey, I learned some things. Winning on 10-15, winning on a game 6, or just a high-pressure moment. And I think the cool thing I saw about tonight here, Seth, is you look at the stats. We talked about breaking 100. We just did 101. How about that? 101
Wow.
Dalmatians on the Switch. It just barely broke that. We saw Tago play 15 less cards, but for a minute, remember, he was playing 20 less cards at one point and was winning the series. So it just shows you who's the more efficient player. That's got to be one of the highest. I mean, for a best of 7, have 31 skips and reverses versus 18. It's getting it done, right? In terms of skips reverse, stats were pretty even. In fact, 11, 12 on +4s and wilds combined. +2s were just slightly in Tago's favor, but it felt Yoshi was playing a lot more defensive early. And then, all of a sudden, once we get to that Game 5 momentum, when he got that win, he could play more offensively. And it sometimes just shows you, Seth, all it takes is one game. Doesn't matter how you win, whether it be a 17-minute endurance match like Game 4 or 20 minutes in Tago in Game 2 where the number efficiency works. Stick to what you know. You have multiple game plans, but sometimes just sticking to one game plan, it works early. But then as soon as you get into that Game 5, 6, 7, you want to build the cushion up. And Tago had the cushion built. But unfortunately, the cushion was only too much you could handle for us. Yoshi had more of that back-end efficiency on ammo. It's a great night. Lot of draw city. Great for you to get a test game where you want to see a game that goes 6 or 7, builds your reps as well. I gotta say, a successful night. Caesar, what do you think, man? Successful night? Thoughts on Seth streaming and this game overall to close us home? Seth, what was your thoughts on this game, man? Your first ever stream game. Now you understand the protocol a little bit too, for sure.
I mean, you said it earlier on tonight. This did not have the feeling of a test stream. This felt like we were, in a Super League Final Four game or something, just with the back and forth. We mentioned the fact that this is a rematch. I think that's what added into the statistics we saw here tonight, the swapping back and forth, the offensive defensive swapping. Obviously, each one had a little bit of an idea of what the other one was going to bring to the table, and you touched on it. Stick to your game plan. Stick to your comfort zone. But they said they had a plan B, but again, something that they were comfortable with. Don't go outside of the box, and both of them stuck to what they knew here this evening. You said one game can shift the momentum. We saw that be the case after the conclusion of that fifth game. We saw a little bit more on the defensive side there from Tago. Yoshi able to play a little bit more aggressive. Sometimes that's the luxury that you're able to get depending on which side of the series bracket you're on. So I'll tell you what, I felt more like a spectator in this, more like a fan in watching this back and forth here tonight between the two Titans here trying to advance their way into the final round of March Madness. And yeah, absolutely thrilled with this to be my first testing stream, because couldn't ask for a better matchup.
Yeah, absolutely. Look at Yoshi's. He's been trying. This will be his third year trying to get in the Super League title. He's been there, had a tough Super League. Good off-season, though, for both. And it was an awesome game, says Caesar, from the streaming to the play. I cannot stress how far I cannot wait for this actual game. Trust me, everyone's been waiting, right? We've all had this pent-up energy to say, hey, you know what, how last season ended, we want to make this one big. And I think we definitely got a good base. And what we saw with Seth, 1 hour stream, 10 minutes of time, gameplay on the time. That's what you want, average. And a lot of fun here, a lot of crossovers you want to see, great moments. And as you said, Seth, definitely had a Final Four atmosphere, maybe even a Super League T5 when it really gets big. But we know March is the biggest tournament in the regular season, not named Super League or T5. So we'll see when we get to that actual first round what the matchups will be. Take us home, man, that calzone, pepperoni, pasta. What we got cooking for that finale of the bracket, and make it happen. Go for it.
Yes, as you see here on that bracket, you're going to have Taco from Pepperoni taking on William Brock, the 2 and 3 seed. Then we're going to have the 1 and 3 seed. Captain was waiting in the wings, seeing who his next opponent was going to be. It's going to be Yoshi. Moving on to see who between the two of them is going to face off against the winner of Taco and Brock. Slugfest tonight. Probably going to be a slugfest in that upcoming one as well. But Yoshi able to topple number 1 seed, looking to do it again in his next matchup. What an incredible night. We knew we were going to be in for an endurance run. We definitely got that here this evening. Congratulations to Yoshi on the win. Incredible fight put up by Tago. KT, appreciate you joining me here on commentary. Had a blast. Caesar, our referee here tonight, and everybody that joined us here in the voice chat looking along here as well in this evening's test bracket stream. Incredible night. Appreciate everybody that tuned into the coverage here, and be sure to stay tuned as we continue on March Madness here for the MRE Uno League Division 1. I've been Seth Cole. Have a great night, everybody.
That was a wrap.